Hello, folks. Okay. How are we doing? I I don't know if there's any baby carrots around here. Okay. Uh, Guten Morgen. Good. That is that the Dutch spelling? Oh no, that's German without an umlaut. I think. Right. All right. Let me. Good Morgen. Good Morgen. Okay. Hi, Tinglish. This is loud. Okay. Let's get things started. So, as I said last time, today we're just sort of like clean up, looking at our documentation, see if there's anything missing, mark off things that we need to do in the future, possibly do a little bit of like changes. So let's jump into. Where's the. Oh, there we go. And I guess I'm going to try zoom out a little bit. You. How do I zoom out on 150%? I still can't see everything. Hi, Jake. Can people still see fine? I want to see the whole page at once. So we've got our phonologies here. I'm still I'm gonna be genuinely honest. I'm still a little bit unclear on the phonology of dawn. The phonology of dusk I'm clear on, but like these things that are in parentheses, I don't know if they're actually just straight up phonemes or if they're marginal or what. Um, One thing I will say, um, I have had thoughts about these retroflexes. Oh, are you talking about the relay? I don't know. I will say my previous experience with the relay is that the bigger creators do end up getting new views, and I think some of that is just from the is just like from like people will tune into their own person, um and I don't know. I don't know how. Can I zoom an arbitrary amount? Page width. There we go. But I think there are some people who just will check the video of the one person that they subscribe to and then not do any others. But you can't you can't account for user behavior. So okay, I think we're as big as we can be here. Yeah. So I've got these zoomed in as much as I can. Anyway, that's coming out on Monday. I am waiting for one person, to give me a Premiere link so I can make the playlist. Yeah, well, we have that set up as well as we can. Yeah, yeah, they live on. I'm still getting views on the 2025. Okay. So we have phonology is like set. I don't think I need to go over too much about that. Um, I don't know why I have random LaTeX code in here. I don't need that LaTeX code. I can always just go and get that. I go and make that whenever I turn this into a LaTeX document. Um, tone, two mark tones, high and low. That's going to be the same. Phonology is just going to be the same. So stress. Okay. Okay. So I think there may be times when you get a toneless low, a toneless stress syllable in PHAQ. I'm I need to check that. Let me actually. So here I have stress is unpredictable. They can have a low tone or a high tone. I need to check my dictionary. Well, that is a great idea, Jude 515. That is an excellent thing for you to be doing because the entire purpose. Wow, that's weird. Really need to get a new interface. This I don't know why we have this problem. Okay. So, that's about as good as it gets. Let's see. If we go to Dawn, Jishja, Jishja. Yeah. So, we can have a toneless stress. Is there any reason that it has to be like that? Jishja, Jishja, Jishje. Because the problem is, this will mean it that we have no clues on the surface about stress. I could I couldn't mark it with a macron. but that seems inelegant. Yeah. So I'm going to put a note to myself here. This is. This will only occur in. Okay, in night it will happen. But night will have various variable stress. I really am thinking maybe we just like make sure that the stress always has a low tone. Um, this one, this bit. So I did. I don't know if I really need this chart, to be honest. I think I need to spend some time going through every single word and noting down what the mutations are. Um, so that I like know what goes on with that. There are, let's see, right. So Geminets never mutate at all. I don't know why. Do Geminets also don't mutate for nasal mutation? Wait. Oh. Didn't even realize that. Do the baseline like regular mutations, and we note the exceptions, right? That way we have things, you know, we're not referencing a giant table. Also, I don't know if I want to be. Let's check on other things before I spend a bunch of time on stream cleaning up a giant table. That's not necessarily good video. Okay, so okay, did we never fully define that? Oh, okay. Okay, so we have a bunch of examples in dawn that we don't have in dusk. Jude, I cannot answer that for you. Why I have an example of the Yi Chi in my language, I wonder. Um, okay. Um, let's just. I just want to mention something. Going back on the romanization. So I settled on the underdot, right? Notation. And something that David was talking about I think Tpala had retroflexes and they did not mark them for some reason, and then ended up using the underdots for pharyngealization in Hauhoff, right? I'm thinking I might want pharyngealization in a future language. And if I do that, how am I going to Romanize that if I also have another language in the same world that's using underdot for retroflex? So if people have other suggestions on how I can handle that, I would rather not go with a digraph for retroflex because nobody is going to read that correctly. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a nice, elegant solution. Um, the biggest thing is like I cannot find a consistent alternative for either of those. Just like searching on my own, like underdot seems to be the thing for both retroflexes and pharyngeals. So if you want, God forbid, you'd have to differentiate in one language, but like that that could present a problem in the future that we can think about. Okay, so the retroflexes weren't marked with underdots in Pahla. See, that is not something I can do because I have retroflex stops in Dawn. So, I my best idea here is that if I include pharyngeals in a future language, then what I would do is I would either for the pharyngeal stop or the pharyngeal fricative, choose a character for that and make a digraph out of that with the stops, with the other things. Yeah, I don't like that idea because I am using, like, it wouldn't be ambiguous at all, but the if I'm using the accents for tone, grave and acute accent for tone, then doing that is going to be slightly weird looking. Okay. We have, okay, the classes. We have, I will need to come up with more thorough explanations of class. Because we know, okay, so autotroph. Okay, we did have they extend to ecosystems and landforms. Um, by the way, for many months I've been thinking about like what will I do with these classes in the ocean? Is everything just going to be, are we just going to have like tons of predators in the ocean? Because like at the bottom of the food chain you have things eating zooplankton, right? Um and I have a solution. I have a thought about something that would resolve that involving another language, a sister language, but that's something I will work on possibly in the future. That's not really something I want to get into right now. But it involves like basically it involves I'll just say like I'm thinking that maybe if I consider merfolk to be a type of fairy and have them have a branch that branches off of the uh, uh like at some point during the Middle Fey period, so that they also develop noun classes, then they can have like a different noun class um, system that relates to this system, but classifies things in a different way. Um, More on that in the future. Um, this, I mean, the biggest thing is like this is kind of like a retro analysis. I cannot guarantee that these are all of the endings for each of the classes. But oh, number one, this can be just a W, right? Just like it can be V here, right? Otherwise, I think we're good. Man, those accusative forms can be heavy. Okay. Bye, Shafai. Bye, Shafai. Taj, Tajwo. 八就是会，八就是会，八就是会，八就是会，八就是会。P? What? Oh, that's right. Puis, Shafai, Tazwu, Pativ, Pativzikwe, 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 Pativzikwe. Okay, these possessive classifiers. Okay, so here's something to mark. I made the possessive classifiers. I have not yet figured out what how the possessive construction evolves, which is why we don't have any examples here, right? So that is something that we need to deal with, right? We need to. Because we know what this was in Middle Fey. We know how it worked in Middle Fey. The question is, like, does that change at all? We know that the classifiers still survive, but they could be used in a slightly different way. They might become like politicized or something. Articles. Okay. Oh. Some North American languages use an apostrophe above for adjectives. Okay. Not the same as for initialization, but I don't know what else is it. That's not actually a bad idea, though. If there's something I could put above. Or like overdot versus underdot. Although I really don't like the way overdot looks on like T and D. So I need to. Okay, so let's first of all, this is exactly the kind of thing I was looking for. I just forgot to add the chart here, right? So let's go. We go from the. This is documented in the vault in Obsidian. So if we look for um, dusk, we go to Shah, and okay, so I think copying that table is not going to work. We'll just go here, and then when we adjust those forms, it's actually shock, right? And wait, so this has no tone. This has no tone. B does have a high tone. I'm not sure why I decided B should have a high tone. Should it? Let me ask you guys. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. That is a good point because if I just like decide I don't want Phrygia as stops, then it's not a big deal what T and D look like, right? Um, I'm gonna keep this poll over here until it closes, and we will keep things sorted out. Okay, so we'll leave that 5 minutes. Let's still look at okay proper nouns. Okay, we did not. Okay, all of these examples. Okay, we're going to. Oh my, we have definitely moved beyond that. Um, So let's actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and translate all of these into dusk, which should be just replacing words. So how did this happen? Such a weird word. So if we have puis and then sha failli, taja. Okay, this is yeah. So taja taja is just taja. And then we need bat. Bat might actually be the same. Okay. Oh, I see. Dawn got it from night, which meant that it was toneless in dawn. Okay. That's interesting. Um where is the Okay. Okay. So I'm going to well, I'm going to have to get the I'm just going to get dusk. And this is the middle fay. So we're going to go yeah. Okay. Actually, I need to go to the middle fay, and I need the oblique. I need to get all of these so I can just make the paradigm. Oh. ji ji hui hui ji hui ji hui hui. Okay. So if I then take this and I go find any other noun, yeah, this one actually has a paradigm. I don't know why. And then ji hui ji ha ji hui ji hua ji ha ji hui hui and ji have you hui ji have you hui. Okay. So we want ji hui hui ji hui hui ji hui hui. That is so. Oh my goodness, that is such a tongue twister. I have an H and a H in the same word. Let me take off Jake's thing. Ji hui hui. Okay. So no, I didn't want that. I want ji hui hui. Okay. Puis小法医他家ji hui hui ji hui hui. And oh, 他家ji hui hui. But oh no, it should not. It would not. It definitely would not, right? Yeah. Yeah, with Taja it does not have a lenition. Okay, so and your votes are in. The answer is no tone. So this will be a differentiator that will like show up constantly. Is that that in Dawn the articles do have a the definite articles do have a low tone, but in Dusk they are toneless. And then we had, so it will be B with no tone, and then what is the? Now I'm just referring to my chart that I didn't want to mess with. Okay. Jia, Zia. Yeah, it's just Zia. So this is simple. You just remove the D, and then the affricate becomes a fricative. Sie, sie hui hui. Sie hui hui. Sie hui hui. Okay. Okay. And then this is would be shack. And fei the plural of fei is fa. I think, okay, I'm going to go and say this gets deleted here. It can stay here. Sie have you can have that, but sie hui sie hui hui sie hui hui is better than sie hui here. So we're going to sie hui hui so that we can just not deal with that. And then this is B, and this will be sie have you or sie have you. Okay. So, and do we want this to be the same? And then finally, fa, and then we want the word for, we want ta, and it is really? Oh, wait. Did I do that? Oh, really? Okay, so That's wild. Okay. I did not mean to highlight a spammer. I just kind of accidentally. Well, that's. I don't think I've ever done that or that. I guess I'm older. So this is something I need to actually document, right? I need to actually say, okay, and we want to have insert. Oh, how do we make a table? Table, insert table, 2 columns and 7 rows. E R Sen S O Liu. And we can go. So Taj Tazu. This it does need to have tones because we have polysyllabic. Taja. Taj. Ta. And Tabja. And which ones of those are going to trigger lenition? So it had this. So this one, not that, not that. This one, not that. Okay, that's not going to trigger. Okay. And then we got to go to this. So this is so this is what I've just realized that I did. Okay, I actually did document all of this in. Okay, this is all documented in Dawn. So you see in Dawn we agree with class and number in the indefinite article. In Dusk it only, and can we table. Okay. So I needed to do that in order to actually document that properly. Okay. I did not say that it's required on proper nouns. Okay, let's go find monster week. What the heck? Okay. These slides are not what I want. Hold on. Well, where did that go? Okay. I know where I can find it. Hold on. This is what I was looking for. This needs to be updated, which means I need to find the source file. I did it in LaTeX. That's why I couldn't find it in my stuff. I did it in LaTeX. Um, so fairies tend to have names reflecting natural phenomena or flora and fauna. Dawn names require the definite article the, and while that is optional in dusk names, it's very frequent. Okay. It's frequently applied to proper nouns, but it is not required. Um, by the way, I do need to update these names because I actually did this with our old way of doing adjectives. We have changed the way attributive adjectives work. Originally, I had them just like inflect like verbs and agree. Oh, I need to actually show you guys what I'm looking at. If you will see, so we have jihje krili with a yeah, sha jihje krili, right? With the oh, that's just a verb. That's definitely not working. That needs to be the dependent form of the verb, which will agree with case but not with class. And that's just an issue, something I need to update for several of them. Tiny bison. So I have mile sui tifui. It should be sha mile sui, an independent form of tiny. Um, and several of these. The compounds are fine. So that's something I'll need to get done. Um, proper nouns. Okay. So this actually is like dead. We need to okay. Okay, and then we're going to... You know what? Let's actually do that edit right now. I'm going to pull up Overleaf. Monster Week Fae. That's all you need to see. Okay. So we are looking at the names. Okay. So, okay, I'm just going to have to go through these one by one. So, Shajihje Krilyi, running Scantiopterygid. Okay, that I need to figure out what is the to run. That should be in here. Did I put them into the dictionary yet? Okay. P. Oh, I have not put the dependent forms. I have not put the dependent forms in here, so we're going to fix up some things. Dependent verb forms. So, to run, it came from Cree. And so, in Dawn, these are this. I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm thinking of it, Crisue. So it would be it's Crisue. Shajishye ji sa sha shajihje Crisue. 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 That's so weird. And dusk. Okay, we'll just do the dusk separately. Sha S2E82. That's wrong. So we want the negative. Yeah. We want. No. Okay, so actually, this is okay. So this is an issue in several ways. First of all, the ba does not work like that. The ba is for verbs, but in order to like this queue is more like non. It would be the raven with non wings, so we can't use queue. The independent queue is just used as an answer to questions. So I think I think what we want is first of all, what is the word for wing in dawn? Let's actually look at the right dialect. What did I? Yeah, so it is Hifu, Hifu, G. I think I think what we can do is ba and S ba G Hifu. Unless I have something that means without. Do I have something that means without? Okay, let's actually look in the dusk ones and see. Yeah, I don't have a without. That's another thing. I need to go add all of the dawn things to. So, do I not have with? I don't have an equivalent for with in dawn because Z means to be in a place. And Z originally meant at, by, or beside. Yeah, I straight up don't have a comitative preposition in dawn. So that's that's amazing that I just like don't have that at all. Let me fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for verbs. I'm going to look through my verbs. Summon, grow, Cover. Cover could be one. Fall could be wither, run, safe, walk, bind. Just don't. Trade, exchange, barter, tree. Okay, so here's the thing. You can say just don't have a translation for with. The question I'm going to ask you then, do you have an alternative for me to make a commutative construction? Because you do need some kind of commutative construction. You need to say with something. Or I mean this is more like with as in having, possessing, right? Which is something I could do. But I want to hear what your alternatives are. Or anybody. What alternative construction would you use here because in order to get this expression of because so the expression I'm trying to get is raven with no wings. Okay? What do you want, what construction would you suggest? Well, I mean that's totally, I mean that's a common thing. Do I have any conjunctions? I don't have any conjunctions yet. So, I mean, if I say it's identical to the locative, that is basically what I'm doing now. So I could say that in just also means with. The thing is that would be identical to what dusk does in this case, which is fine. It's not terrible, but I was thinking of making them different just to make them a little, just to give a little extra difference. I do not have a dative. Nouns, so what happened in the history of Middle Fey? Middle Fey had three cases. It had just like a default case, it had an oblique, and it had a locative. And what happened was some nouns took the, usually like more animate or more agentive nouns took the oblique to become an accusative, while the less agentive nouns took the locative. And those two, between different words, basically merge together to become the accusative. So that is where we are. And Um, Probably not. I would have to have some way in order to have the tone system. I have some grammatical marking from tone. I would have to somehow insert an aspirate. Like I'd have to insert an H somewhere in the protoform. And that's not impossible, but it's a little bit tricky. Um, what I could do, yeah, maybe I'll take a look at it. Um, what one thing that I was just thinking about actually was what if I got an adjective that meant what if I had an adjective derivation that corresponds to English less, so it's wingless, or I had winged and negated to be unwinged, right? Affected by IP. I don't truck with that um, stuff. Quite a few options under possessive. So we can take a look at Zotero. What am I even on? Okay, we have the World Lexicon of Granization. So you say H possessive. H possessive can come from the commitative and can come from a copula or a locative. Come from to exist, can come from get or hand or keep. Locative, yeah. So raven with no wings or raven of no wing. That's so. Well, okay, so my of also means from. So we would have raven from no wing. It comes from out of. So if we go with that with pa, let's try that. Let's see how that sounds. So let's go with the source phrase. Ba pa ba. Okay, it would be ba ba. Et su baba qui fut. Et su baba qui fut. Qui fut. Qui fut. No. Et su baba qui fut. that right? Pa from out of, and then what was that originally? Yeah, so there would be no mutation at all. Yeah. So it means that it's a raven that doesn't have any wings. So we could actually, yeah, I think, okay, we can have this mean like with. With as in having. And then just to like negative. Okay, so we have to, okay, focusing on the base phrase. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, that's revealing stuff. Okay. Focusing on the base phrase. Let's go grab that from here. Let's, so this is the original, and that would gloss as Raven in not wings. Okay? Proposals we've had. I originally thought, okay, just flip these and make this like that. And we go with Raven not in wings. But people are saying replace it. And this would actually be with a B now. Ba not of wings. No, they do not have exactly the same prepositions. I don't want them to have exactly the same prepositions because those things change. If you like you look at English versus German prepositions. They are different. It's don't think too deep about it. It's just a name. It's a name for a fairy. So there is some fae that is named the Raven with no wings. Okay. Other options Yeah. Other options would we could have the raven ba. This is dusk, so we would be we of non-wings. Raven and of non-wings, right? Outside. Mm-hmm. That's an option. I can just have a word for without that comes from what is the I could go with this is not actually what it would be. I need to know me. This is why I really need to go document these. It's true. So it would, yeah, it would just be true, right? It would just be that. Um, okay. I'm gonna say this is like just weird. It implies the image of a raven that has something that's not that other than wings. So I'm gonna eliminate that. And how about this? Okay. Let me ask you real quick, and I will move on to other names as I do this. I will ask you very quickly. Where's my straw poll stuff? Okay, I'll just make it straw poll. And let me pull these. I need to get this up. So Okay. I'll allow you to choose. Well, I'll make it a ranking poll, and I will give you guys until 9:40. No, it's not. It's not. This is not what we're doing. We are doing without wings because that is what I came up with for the name, and we need this some kind of construction to mean without. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm going to move on to the next name because we don't want to spend forever on one thing. Oh, where even is that? Okay, sorry. So we're dealing with that. Okay, miles who chief. Okay, that needs us to do the dependent form again. So chifu. Now, do I have a dependent form ready, chifu? What is the source? Tifu, tifu, tifu. I do not have that. So what I want to do. Can I just do it in here? What do you mean you wanted to vote? You just rank at the top. How did it not let you? Okay, let's see the results. Baba. There's only 2 people who voted. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, that's what people said. Okay, so I need to edit this ba, ba, and verbs, and positional phrases. Yeah, so it was a ranking poll. You rank them in order of preference. Do we want to rerun it again? Okay. Apparently people didn't understand the poll. I don't know. And this means that pa again, I didn't do it right. There. With as in having. Okay. So that's what we got. That's what we get. Okay. Let's go and get that sorted out. Ba. Ba. Shihu. And so this would be sha. S2E82. So that's altered so that Raven is predator class now. Ba. 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 Shifu. Okay. Now, let's get back to Shamayo Sui Chifui, which should be if we come back here and get into Lexergy, we should be able to get our forms. So we would get did I do that in? Oh, this is in dusk. Okay, well, we'll put the dusk in. And then we'll do the same thing for dawn. I am making a conlang. I am making two conlangs at the same time, which is something to deal with. So, Chifu. No, no, we're in dusk. We want to go to the dawn one. Chifu Shui. Right now, I'm just correcting some stuff in a document. Okay, this is a compound. This is a compound. That's fine. Bui ishu, that has a prepositional phrase. Bui ishu shi, also. That's a compound prepositional phrase. Okay, that is bud of rose, the bud of rose, right? And then this one, missing, and what missing? What? What? Huh? Okay, that's the missing badger. Okay, so somehow. Okay, well, we can fix all of this at once. I don't know how. Oh. It, it is that way. So, okay, it became Hibik, and then Hibjik, and Hibje, and that protected that H at the beginning. Okay, that is, that is a messed up paradigm. Is lack or miss? I think that is something that is common enough to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the dependent forms. And maybe, okay, we'll see what actually happens when we plug in those dependent forms. This is dawn. I don't actually need the oblique form at all, so let's just not worry about it. Apply. Shabtue. Shabtue. Shabtoi. Shabtoi. Shabtue and Shabtoi. Okay. So, okay, and we're going to need to Shabtwa versus Shabtwa. Shabtwa and Shabtwa. That's cool. We usually don't have that big of a distinction in Dusk. So that's cool. Okay, so let's put these into Obsidian. And we need the Dusk. And we need so these are two dialects or two closely related languages for Fae. They are for the Fae of dawn and dusk. This started as a project for the Sylvan language for D&D, and it will be used for spell incantations for druids and rangers, right? And then eventually I was developing like 4 different dialects: day, dawn, dusk, and night. And eventually sort of I was going to make like a standard between them that's like a koine, like a compromise between all 4. But then I realized it would be more interesting to just have 2 of the dialects and you use either one of them. So I decided to focus on dawn and dusk. There will be reasons why there are reasons why I focus on those both externally and then internal world building that will be revealed. But yeah, the first one I did was for dragons, and now I'm doing Fey languages, and I'm doing like these 2. And all of those families may expand in the future. Okay, where am I? Where's my cursor? So we're just doing some cleanup work today. Okay, so that's a compound. Now, this is the same thing, however, well, depending on what your use is, I'm going to have the same thing here. This ba jihu. So we can negate prepositions with ba. And then I need to go back and get tiny. Chief, and I have already got this Chifut. Schwa. Chifu schwa. That's a compound. This is falling. Okay, did I fall? Surely I have those dependent forms. for what is Hufa? Hufa. Is Hufa in here? No, I do not see it. So let's go get the middle fave form. Get Hufa. And get these nominalized forms. Okay, let me take this off. Okay. Done. What to do? I want to get the dawn too. And then, okay, this does not need to. Yeah, so hoof, yeah. Why am I? Oh, the idea of the fire breath is really cool. And also the fact that he said, okay, humans will just do that by pharyngalization, right? Huh? Hufaswa. And that is what will go into here. What was it? Okay. Hufaswa. Hufaswa. Mupai. So this is just water? Okay. Cloudless. Ooh. How do we want to handle that? That doesn't even work anymore. I think the way that we work, that it does, that we do that nowadays, we can't even do just like an adjective on its own. I think I'm going to comment that out. And we already have this missing. let's go ahead and get this sorted out. I need to leave. But at least wait, I have it here. The indefinite pronouns, they're kind of noun. Like I can, I need to go, but I can show you super quickly. Okay, let's go get missing and get the dependent form in here. Shabtwa. Wait. Shabtwa. Yeah, shoot. So it's Shabtwa or Shabtwa. Okay. Okay. So that's it. I need to figure out sometime I'll figure that out. Okay, so the dependent pronouns, the indefinite pronouns. Let me show you that something really quick. We went through. They're somewhere in. They're under pronouns, right? Under indefinite pronouns. Did we put them in both? Indefinite pronouns. So I basically came up with, oh, this was going to be a poll, and I never did it. So I didn't do all and every, but basically I derived them from question words, and I had something, nothing, somewhere, nowhere, somebody, nobody. I need to do the all/every. So pair it with an indefinite pronoun. That okay. Um okay, I definitely need to go. That's a thought. I will think about that for the future. For now, I am at time. We need to go. But this was great. Remember, next week on Monday, we get the first ring of the YouTube conlang relay. I should have all of that. If anybody knows Aaron, I'm just, well, I'm just waiting for one premiere link, then I'll make the playlist. And on Monday, that should come out. We should have everything all sorted out for that. And thank you all for watching, and happy conlanging. Wait. Yes, I have the same name on YouTube and Twitch. You might want to come on to the YouTube conlangery if you want to watch next time. Love 209. Okay. Happy conlanging.